Zach LaVine has finally spoke out on trade rumors and said exactly where he wants to go. We're going to cover all of that in this episode of Bulls Digest. I'm your host, Joey Mercer, and before we get right into it, I just want to say that about 97% of you are not subscribed. So if you're looking for daily Bulls content, then look no further. Absolutely, 7 days a week we'll be doing this here on the channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on notifications using the bell, and every day you'll get notified when we upload videos. Today we're spoiling you with 2 videos, in fact, and we just thought we love the viewers. We love exactly the engagement that we're getting from you guys recently, so we thought that we'd do a second video and keep you absolutely up to date with the Chicago Bulls. So without further ado, let's get right into the first topic of today. So we have LaVine leaving the Bulls. Yes, has been lots of speculation of him not being very happy, and we got absolute confirmation of that last night in a win over the Miami Heat. Zach LaVine played solid in the game overall, and at the end of it, we came back after being down 22-1 in the first quarter, winning the game over the Miami Heat, who have been red hot as of late. And then what does Zach LaVine do? He walks off the court. We actually had Billy Donovan coming out saying he was downright tricked by Zach LaVine's behavior after last night's game, and that was per Jay Cali Hoops. And it was said that sources indicated that the front office was made aware of the situation immediately and was less than thrilled with LaVine's actions. Not hard to see there why the front office wouldn't be happy with him sticking around post-game for at least handshakes, even if he didn't want to talk about the media with all the surfacing of his trade rumors. Why was last night the night that he was eventually ticked off? Why was it not the in-season tourney game the night before? Why was this the game that he wasn't happy about? He seemed very happy and chipper against the Orlando Magic in a more important game, and then against the Miami Heat, when you win against such a great team, then he just doesn't seem very happy at all. He leaves the court, doesn't talk to anybody, he shrugs off a woman that approaches him after the game, and it obviously was taken right ahead by Billy Donovan in the front office, as I mentioned, not happy, and rightfully so. Next, we have a dark horse candidate if the Bulls do end up trading LaVine. It's the Charlotte Hornets. This was tweeted out by Jake Weinbach. He said that they could be a dark horse suitor for the Bulls all-star guard, Zach LaVine, and Charlotte could build an offer around Gordon Hayward, James Bouknight, and draft compensation. A LaMelo LaVine backcourt would be an electric product in Buzz City. Now, what do I think about this? James Bouknight, probably going to be out of the league next season. They didn't extend his rookie contract, and rightfully so. He's one of the worst players in the NBA. If you look at it, he has a barely positive player efficiency rating, most times a negative, and he really doesn't put up many stats. He struggled in summer league, and he can't even stay on the court in the regular season. So he isn't a player that I even see on an NBA roster next year. Gordon Hayward's interesting. I don't know how he would fit necessarily next to DeMar DeRozan, but he could play power forward. If we were to make a trade around that, and they did have some solid draft compensation, and the Hornets don't end up being that good of a team by the end of the season, we could do pretty good with a trade like that. I haven't really thought into a Charlotte Hornets trade, but it definitely piqued my interest when I saw that Gordon Hayward come back as such a professional. I think he is a good player to have on a team with an expiring contract that could absolutely benefit some of the younger guys as a great mentor type player. I think he's done a great job with Brandon Miller under his wing and has played solid in Charlotte as well. It's not like he's completely washed. He is still a solid player in the NBA and definitely a starting caliber player. So interesting to see that the Hornets are interested in the services of Zach LaVine there to add to their backcourt that already has Terry Rozier. So I'm interested to see if Rozier would be sent back or sent to a third team, and maybe it could be a third team trade. We'll have to see as that story develops, or if it develops at all. Hopefully it does, as that is definitely a solid candidate to take on Zach LaVine. Next thing I want to cover here is his preferred destinations. Yes, he actually came out and said the teams that he wanted to go to. He isn't just leaving it up to wherever he goes. He isn't that disgruntled with the situation, which is one way you can look at it. But when asked by the media in a recent video that I saw online, he stated that when teams lose, you can become frustrated, not just the front office or the coaching staff, but the players themselves And that's where a lot of these rumors can be derailed from. You can see them happening when the players are really clashing amongst each other, and especially after that first opening night game against Oklahoma City Thunder when they had a players-only meeting. You could tell the players have not been themselves since then completely. There's been sparks of them getting along, but overall, it hasn't been the happiest Chicago Bulls team that we've seen, and that's where a lot of rumors, of course, have sparked. Now, the preferred destinations you're asking? Well, I'm going to get into those right now. This is something I saw on Reddit, which was from a Yahoo Sports article. It says LaVine and his representation hold several preferred landing spots, such as the Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, and Philadelphia 76ers, league sources told Yahoo Sports. And each team has registered some level of interest in the Bulls guard. LaVine also has an eye on joining the San Antonio Spurs, sources said, in order to pair with rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama and reunite with head coach Greg Popovich, who oversaw the 2020 Team USA outfit that LaVine helped win a gold medal in Tokyo. There are several other contending situations LaVine would welcome joining, sources said, one being Sacramento. The Kings signed LaVine to an offer sheet during his restricted free agency in 2018, albeit before this present front office regime took the reins in Northern California. If Chicago does intend to start a complete teardown and makeover, then Bulls guard and defensive stalwart Alex Caruso could possibly net Chicago its greatest return of any player on the roster. The sense around NBA decision makers is that Caruso's contract, still with another season at just under $10 million for 2024 to 25, plus his malleability alongside most players, could generate a market that touches most of the league, championship contenders and inexperienced playoff hopefuls alike. The Bulls have already required multiple first-round picks for the 29-year-old veteran when opposing teams have asked about Caruso's availability if his number of suitors were to indeed match the breadth of teams that checked with Portland about landing Drew Holiday this fall. It's not unreasonable to expect Caruso to fetch the Bulls a similar price point of draft capital as Holiday netted the Blazers both a 2024 and 2029 first-round pick. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Drew Holiday is a much better offensive player than that of Alex Caruso. But defensively, they're about on par, if not Caruso being a little better. So I do see how the trade value could be better for Alex Caruso on a better contract. The Holiday situation was very strange, and being on Portland, he definitely didn't want to stay there. So they might have even taken a little less. So the trade value could definitely be the same for Caruso and Drew Holiday based on the situation that went down. When we look at LaVine going to the Spurs or Kings, that's definitely interesting. I think the Kings are a little bit less likely when you look at it, based on the fact that just because they signed him to an offer sheet in 2018, there's not really a whole lot more going on there. Why would he want to join the team besides the fact that it's in warm and sunny California? I'm not really sure. They do have a top offense, and I think he would fit solidly within their offensive scheme, but I don't think that that might be the top team on his list, and it's less likely to happen. However, the Spurs, there's a lot of history there. They mentioned Greg Popovich. He seemed to get along really well with Greg Popovich and Kevin Durant, of course, as well, on Team USA in 2020. So he would go back to being coached under one of the greatest coaches of all time. We definitely can't, sweep that under the rug. Greg Popovich right now, the most winningest coach of all time, although he is in his 70s, is still a great coach in the league. Would definitely take him on the Bulls over Billy Donovan right now, that's for sure. But pairing him with Victor Wembanyama would be an interesting look for the San Antonio Spurs, and more importantly for us Chicago Bulls, they do have some draft capital to give us back, and they aren't a very good team right now as they've just lost their last 7 games. We could get a lot of value back for Zach LaVine if he goes to the Spurs. So that's another team that I really want to look forward to. The top 2 teams that I think would be interesting right now would be the Los Angeles Lakers, which I've mentioned, and the San Antonio Spurs. The Hornets a little bit below the Lakers, as I think the Lakers can give us more players right now, but I think the Hornets can definitely give us some better draft compensation. We're going to be covering more of this in the next episode, hopefully, of the Chicago Bulls Digest. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Make sure to like and comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. We're doing this every day, as we mentioned at the top, and I'll see you in the next one.